Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Manchester United will soon confirm the signing of Ajax defender Lisandro Martinez, subject to medical and personal terms, etc. being agreed. But will he be a success at Man United and in the Premier League? So to talk about that and much more, I'm joined by journalist James Rowe, who's been on the channel a few times before. He's based in the Netherlands and featured heavily in BBC Sports feature on Martinez earlier this week, which I highly recommend. The link to that is in the description below. And if you're new around here, please subscribe to the channel for more vlogs, watch-alongs and other football content like this. Let us know your thoughts on Martinez. Will he be a success or not? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. It'd be great to read those. So, James, thanks again, mate, for joining. So we'll talk about your thoughts on United signing Martinez and following Ten Hag to United. What are his main attributes and strengths? What's his relationship with Ten Hag? And ultimately, might be a bit hard to answer, but will he be a success in the Premier League in your opinion? So, without further ado, let's get your initial thoughts on the signing. Obviously, United have struggled defensively, particularly last season. Harry Maguire, the skipper, had a torrid season by his standards. They needed strengthening at the back, and they've seemed to strengthen that in Martinez. But what are your thoughts on the transfer initially?
Well, first and foremost, Bill, great to be back on the channel, and thanks for a great introduction. It was lovely to score my second goal for BBC with the Martinez article. I'm hoping a hat trick isn't too far away, but we'll just have to wait and see. But great introduction, and I think Manchester United fans will be pleasantly surprised. I think they've got a defender who's got great composure. I think that's the one thing that stood out for Ajax fans almost immediately, because this club is, although it loves its players, whenever players come from near or far, there's always a little bit of the fan culture to think, well, how good are they? And they found out pretty quickly with Lisandro Martinez that he's got great composure. He's got great awareness in terms of space as well, and he's not frightened to release counter attacks and to play long balls, and he's hungry. And you see with this great opportunity he's got to sign for arguably the biggest club in England, and if you think of his career coming from Defensa and Justicia in his native Argentina before signing for Ajax, it's a great opportunity for him to make it to the Premier League. He was played for News Old Boys as well, who the Elsa fans will know. It's not easy to come through that youth academy and debut for the club as well. He's also made great strides at international level in a international side in Argentina that haven't lost in almost 3 years. So they're doing really well. And this is a great opportunity for him. He's going to play under a manager who he knows well, a manager who trusts him completely. And I think this is the real essence of the deal. Martinez is going to a manager who trusts him completely. And as Manchester United fans will find out this season, Ten Hag, whether you are a goalkeeper, a defender, a midfielder or a striker, wants his players as individuals and also as a collective to find solutions within games in order to get victories over the line, in order to accumulate points and go for trophies. And it's a big season for both him as a manager and also Manchester United as a club.
Oh yeah, no, without doubt, mate. So you mentioned composure earlier, but alongside that, what are Martinez's main attributes? I mean, it's been mentioned in the media and on social media sort of last few days that while Martinez isn't the tallest of defenders, but at the end of the day, that doesn't really matter. If you look at two of the best centre backs this century, you look at Fabio Cannavaro, World Cup winner with Italy. I think he's the same height as Martinez, 5'9", and Carles Puyol, absolute legend at Barcelona. I think he's an inch taller at 5'10". So obviously, height isn't isn't the be all and end all as a defender, but obviously alongside his composure, he must have other attributes that have made him the player and success he was at Ajax.
Absolutely, his spatial awareness as well, and he's got great. He's got a deft touch. He's able to launch counter attacks. He's not afraid as a central defender to pass out from the back. And I'm not just talking about 10 yards or 6 yards. I'm talking about spraying passes a la Xabi Alonso at times, in terms of releasing players that come in off the wing in order to launch counter attacks. And I think he'll have to find his feet in the Premier League. I think he's got great hunger as a defender. You've got some defenders that really want to defend. We're in a day and age, Bill, where people, when they give statistics about a defender, it appears to be how many assists did he give, how many goals did he score, when the clue is in the name, defender. You know, in terms of providing maybe clean sheet statistics. And I think with this transfer window, I think a lot of clubs have been led by price tag. I mean, I'm not that old. I only turned 39 in a couple of weeks, but I remember the inception of the Premier League, and I remember my team Arsenal signing Eddie McGoldrick for £1.3 million from Crystal Palace, and that was, you know, really exciting. And now we're in a constant 24-hour news cycle where £50 million transfers are the norm. You know, the fluctuation between euros and pounds in terms of the amount of money. I think some Manchester United fans might have reservations about the size of the transfer and the cost of the transfer. But what they also have to remember is that Ajax are a notoriously difficult club to negotiate with, not just in terms of buying, but also selling. So I think in terms of what they've done before with De Ligt going for a high price tag, and also Frenkie de Jong, obviously Martinez now behind that duo in terms of being very, very expensive. But I think Manchester United have got a defender who will help them improve, and it's a massive season for not just Martinez but also Erik. You know, people love to say about the differences between Eredivisie and the Premier League. For every Ruud van Nistelrooy, there's an Alfonso Alves. Even at managerial level, the same. It's going to be a great season, and I think that Manchester United fans can be excited. You know, we're in a new cycle where every transfer blows the next one out of the water, but I think this is a carefully structured transfer where I think short to mid-term Manchester United will see an improvement in their back line and also their central defence.
Yeah, and just alongside his attributes, I mean, by the sound of it, seems to be pretty versatile. Would that be fair?
Absolutely, can also play in midfield if need be, and that's I believe that happened a couple of times. I can't remember the games off the top of my head, but I think he has been asked to be versatile at times, and I think that's what Erik wants. He wants his players to be versatile, as I touched on earlier, with finding solutions within games. This might sound, excuse the pun, to British viewers, this might sound very foreign, but here in the Netherlands, it's quite normal. It's not gone are the days of you know, I'm a goalkeeper, I'm a defender, I'm a midfielder, I'm a striker. Now it's very much collective. It's the collective which wins games, especially in the Netherlands. Theory plays a massive part in every player's journey and also every manager's journey. But I think in terms of the collective, it's really hammered home here in the Netherlands. I think Erik will take that to Manchester United.
No, we'll see how it goes. So, I mean, you mentioned it earlier, but what is Martinez's relationship with Ten Hag like? Obviously, they had a really good success together at Ajax, obviously.
There's mutual respect. There's the reliability of Martinez. I think that's something that's going to be really important. This is not just a familiar player, but he's also very reliable. And when you have a player that you can rely on, it really does help. And I think that you'll see Martinez won't be scared. You know, if you think about the journey of a player, you know, you're talking about Newell's Old Boys, one of the most respected clubs in Argentina. It's not easy to break through their academy system and debut for their first team, but he managed to achieve that. It's not easy to get yourself in a position to play for your national team, and he achieved that. And I think it's his determination and hunger that will light up the Premier League, because we need to have more defenders that actually take pride in clean sheets. You know, it's not just about how many goals did I assist today. No, how many clean sheets did I achieve in a short period of time? And I think you'll see many fist pumps and many players cajoling one another. And I think it'll be a great season ahead for both Ten Hag and also Manchester United, and also a great achievement for Martinez to finally reach the Premier League in that respect at the tender age of 24.
Yeah, no, exactly. Well, that's led me on nicely to the final question. I mean, it might be a tough one to answer. Obviously, there's a lot of variables and etc. Obviously, the expectation of Man United is absolutely immense, especially last few years where the success hasn't been there on the pitch. But ultimately, do you think Martinez, would he be a success at Man United and in the Premier League?
I believe so. I don't think it'll be a revelation where people will go, oh my goodness, where are they getting from? I think it'll be a slow burner. But I think it'll be a slow burner in the fact of reliability. And, you know, you only have to look at Nottingham Forest played a playoff final and they won via an own goal from a loanee from Chelsea, from Huddersfield Town. And look at the outlay that Nottingham Forest have spent already within the period of 6 to 8 weeks. So it just goes to show what promotion can do to a club going to the Premier League, the riches in the Premier League. But I think the most important thing, as I've said before, having spoken to over 400 professional players and managers at all levels of world football, at the highest level, the smallest details make the biggest difference. They really are massive. For what somebody would brush off as, oh, that's not really important. Oh, yes, it is. And I think in this case, I think the reliability of Martinez, that he can be counted upon. I think his teammates will also learn from him. I know Harry Maguire has had such an awful rap, whereas the abuse has been nothing short of horrific. But if you look at his career, Sheffield United, Hull City, Leicester, and then all of a sudden, arguably the biggest club in the country. I think that if Maguire and Martinez play together, I think you'll see an improvement in Harry Maguire. I'm not saying it'll be an improvement where did this player come from, but just the little things in his game, the assured on the ball, if in doubt, put it out, along those lines, really.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how they play together, which I'm sure they will do. And obviously, from an England point of view, I hope Maguire gets back to obviously somewhere near his best. Obviously, with World Cup coming up later this year, so we'll see how it gets on. Great, James. Well, thanks for all that. That was really really fantastic insight. So it'll be interesting to see how Martinez does at Man United for not only this season, but obviously for the rest of his contract.
Yeah, well, you're more than welcome. Enjoy him and enjoy the Premier League this season. I think it's going to be a great season. I think it's going to be a strange season as well, with a World Cup in between, where some of us are not going to know what to do with ourselves. But I'm so delighted to be back on, Bill, and look forward to speaking to you regularly this season.
No, 100% now. Appreciate your time, James. And it was, as I say, we'll see how Martinez and Ten Hag get on at United this season. Interesting to watch. So thanks everyone for watching. Subscribe to Gage Football if you're new. Don't forget to read James's thoughts on that BBC Sport article. That's in the description below. And let us know in the comments below your thoughts on Martinez and will he be a success at United this season. It'd be great to read those. So thanks everyone for watching and we'll see you soon. Take care.